Hi guys, I'm back. This is kind of my follow-up video to the announcement on the 30th of December that British Airways doesn't want self-financing leisure travellers. So if, like me, you've chased status and you've achieved gold card or silver card in the past, it now as £1 per point, and the new outrageous for a leisure traveller of 20,000 points for gold. That's £20,000 spend plus and £7,500 spend for silver and £3,500 for bronze. £3,500 so you can check in with business class. Really? Is that what it's all about? So after years of putting British Airways first, choosing a BA flight above better offerings from other airlines, all in the search for status, all in pursuit of that mythical gold card, and then maintaining it. Well, like British Airways, it's time for a change. Because £20,000 is just so out of my budget, there's just no way I can play the game. So what are our options? Well, a couple of people in the comments of the last video, and thank you everybody who commented on the last video. It certainly created a debate on this. A lot of people like me think it's just game over, and other people thinking £20,000 is now a fair price and it gets rid of the riffraff. Well, I guess that makes me riffraff. So I've got to look at another option. Now, joining the Qatar Privilege Club, now that is a viable option, but not really for me, as I tend to only fly long haul through the Middle East, maybe once or twice a year. And whenever I do it, I always book an economy ticket and then wait for the cheap offer of an upgrade. Well, if your entire status depends on those flights being business class, you're going to have to pay the business class price. And so you're going to get very close, probably won't get to 20,000, but you're going to get British Airways prices to get status. So that's out. Now, I've been leaning towards Star Alliance for a few years now. My bucket list, very much at the top, is a 747 in business class, which I've never done. And also, I really quite fancy the Singapore suite. And I'm hoping to do both in 25 and 26. But the reality of my normal flying, it's mostly European. So therefore, I have gone for Lufthansa. I've already been a member of them and I've got a few points. I have 40 status points. And my end of my year is now not March the 31st with Lufthansa, it's June. So it gives me a realistic chance of gaining their frequent flyer status actually quite soon. Now, another reason to choose Lufthansa is my home airport is Manchester. And for years, most of my flying over the last 5 years is I've taken the Manchester shuttle down to Heathrow and then picked up a flight from Heathrow to wherever I'm going, whether that's European or whether that's been long haul. And so switching to Lufthansa basically just means I still fly from Manchester. It's just my hub is now Munich or Frankfurt as opposed to Heathrow. Now, as I said about that 747 business class being on the bucket list, I also read that most of the reward flights tend to only go to Lufthansa members. Now, I don't know how accurate that is, what the truth of that is, I don't know. But as I really want to do that, and it kind of makes sense to me that those flights are mostly going to be open to Lufthansa members, I'm going with Lufthansa. Now, when we get the real reason for all of this, is Lufthansa's status is on distance and sectors, either continental or intercontinental, and based on the cabin system. And I guess like many people, and so this is certainly true for me, who chase status with BA, it was part of the game. The enjoyment of it, it's quite an expensive hobby, but it was a hobby. And the enjoyment was playing the game to get the benefits. And as BA is spend only, there's no game to play. There's no fun in this. I mean, where is the fun in spending £20,000 to get lounge access? No fun to me, but finding a £250 return ticket to Albania, picking up a cheap holiday in Marrakesh, paying the £50 upgrade on the Manchester shuttle, it kind of made life more interesting. It was a major reason why I've done it and why I'm going to continue doing it, albeit with Lufthansa on Star Alliance. And so when I started looking at this, and when I started looking at what my options were, a great piece of information I found was on a website called premium-flights.com. There's a link in that in the description below, and they cover the status and they give some good ideas for chasing status with Lufthansa. But basically, the system is as follows. 650 points and 325 qualifying points within 1 calendar year gets you their frequent traveller card, which is basically Star Alliance's equivalent of One World's Sapphire, One World's British Airways Silver. Now, 2,000 points and with 1,000 qualifying points will get you the Senator card, which is the equivalent of BA Gold card. You get into the decent lounges and you get all the upper tier benefits. Now, what's the difference between points and qualifying points? Well, I thought, well, that's a bit confusing, but it's not at all. You earn points with any Star Alliance flight, any Star Alliance partner flight. You earn qualifying points if your flight is with Lufthansa Group. So that basically is Lufthansa, but it also includes Swiss, Austrian, Brussels, and a European low-cost Eurowings, which opens up the door to a low-cost airline flying in and out of Heathrow, which is a new thing. And so with 40 Star Alliance partners and the Lufthansa Group options, 2025's beginning to look quite interesting. But we've got to earn the points, so how do we do that? As I said, basically earning is split into 2 criteria, continental or intercontinental and cabin class. So for example, a flight from Manchester to New York via Frankfurt, one way, would earn me 240 points. That's business class. 40 for the continental flight and 200 for the intercontinental flight. Regardless of the price I pay, I'm rewarded for finding that bargain. And that's 12% of the Senator status and 37% of the frequent flyer silver status. And this is what I like. I can chase status according to my budget. If I find a bargain, I'm going to be rewarded. Unlike now, if I find a bargain with British Airways, I'm actually going to be penalised to try and get status. Now, I've had a brief hunt around with Skyscanner and also using Lufthansa's Fare Finder page. And I'll put a link to Lufthansa's Fare Finder page in the description below. And also a link to my website airline directory, which links to most of the world's airlines, Fare Finder pages, cheap deals, special offers, etc., etc. So you'll find all that in the description below. So, mooching around through that, I can see that I can get the 650 points with an approximate spend of £3,000. Now, bear in mind, for that similar status with One World, would cost me a minimum of £7,500. And the Senator class, I found some flights to Tel Aviv, Lebanon, Oman, places like that. There are £1,000 return in business class. So that means, mix and match a few things around, I can get Senator class for £5,000. So the silver is less than half the price of the BA. And to get Senator Gold Card status, it's a quarter of the price. So, have I completely given up on British Airways? Well, I've got a few Avios points. Not sure what to do with those. I could exchange those, I believe, for a core group hotel, but I don't know. I probably will use them on a BA flight. I have a slight inkling to just whack in a BA holiday, double points, and that would pretty much get me silver status. But what's the point? Because if I'm planning on flying Star Alliance, and there's lots of Star Alliance to choose from, then I'm not going to do that. So let me know what you think of the option of moving to Star Alliance. Have you already decided to do that? Are you saying goodbye to BA? Do you think £20,000 for a gold card is a fair price and you get rid of the riffraff like me? Let me know in the comments. And it just leaves me to say, thanks for the memories, British Airways. It was fun while it lasted. But for me, it's goodbye.